Hey, did you hear? Gunnar held up his phone, his voice carrying the kind of excitement that usually meant trouble. Aiden's throwing a beach party this weekend. Dylan looked at the time on his watch and frowned. He's telling people this late on Thursday. What the hell? Did he just discover calendars? Gunnar shrugged. He was supposed to meet up with his family or something. Guess that fell through. The place is already rented, though. So let me guess, Dylan said. He expects us to show up, pay for half of it, and pretend this was some genius plan. A party thrown together at the last second was usually a disaster. Most people would already have plans, and the few who showed up would probably be random freshmen. There were plenty of better parties happening closer to campus. Nope, Gunnar said. He said it's completely paid for. The whole house. Beachfront access. Everything. We've got it until Sunday. Dylan's expression changed instantly. Now you're speaking my language. He grinned. Don't tell me we have to bring our own beer. Gunnar gave him a look. How exactly is he supposed to have alcohol? He isn't 21. Dylan rolled his eyes. Please. Fake IDs exist for a reason. He thought about it for a moment. Fine. We'll bring the drinks. A free beach house for the entire weekend. I'm not complaining. Who's coming? Everyone, apparently. Dylan smiled. Now that's more like it. Tell everyone the caravan leaves tomorrow at 10. Gunnar groaned. I have a 9 o'clock class. Not anymore. Dylan pointed at him. Tomorrow morning, you have a 9 o'clock beer run. Then we hit the road at 10. Beach by 11. But Dylan cut him off. You were about to say something more important than a free weekend at a beach house. He stared at Gunnar with exaggerated seriousness. I want you to really think about that, bro. Who are you? The guy who skips a free beach party because he's afraid of missing class. Gunnar sighed. 9 o'clock beer run. That's my guy. 9 for the beer. 10 in the car. 11 on the beach. Dylan slapped his shoulder. The weekend starts early. A moment later, Dylan's phone buzzed. He glanced down. It was the same message Gunnar had received. But there was a photo attached. Dylan opened it. For a few seconds, he said nothing. The picture showed the inside of the house. Massive windows looked out over the ocean. The back porch seemed to open directly onto the sand. Everything was clean, expensive, almost too perfect. The kind of place where you could lose track of time. Or lose something else. This place is fucking incredible, Dylan muttered. Gunnar leaned over to look. Oh, so he finally invited you personally. He smirked. Guess we know where you rank. The top, Dylan said immediately. His smile faded slightly. If he knows what's good for him. He stared at the picture again. Aiden needs to understand something. The only reason he's getting anywhere in this frat is because I let him. Throwing a beach party is a smart move. It's a good way to make a name for himself. Dylan tapped the screen. But this isn't about impressing the other guys. He looked up. He needs to impress me. Aha, Gunnar said, barely listening. Didn't you just say the house looked good? We'll see. Dylan's eyes narrowed. A house means nothing if nobody knows how to party. That's why telling us to invite everyone was smart. He smiled again. We bring the crowd. We bring the party. Gunnar raised an eyebrow. So you won't be impressed until you see whether the right people show up. He paused. Even though you're the one bringing them. Dylan slowly turned toward him. Gunnar. Yeah. Shut up. Gunnar laughed. I can sign out one of the campus vans. He headed toward the door. Assuming you can find enough people who won't disappoint you. You're about to disappoint my fists. Gunnar just laughed harder. I'll get the van. He looked back over his shoulder. Don't let me down, Dylan. A grin spread across his face. Don't let yourself down. By 10 the next morning, the van was packed. Every seat in the 15-passenger vehicle was occupied. Gunnar shoved backpacks, duffel bags, and coolers into the cramped space behind the final row. He had to force the rear doors closed with both hands, crushing the luggage inward until the lock finally clicked. The sound echoed strangely in the quiet morning. Dylan leaned against the door and helped him hold it shut. He looked around at the crowd inside. 15 people. Mostly drunk before they had even reached the beach. And more girls than guys. Dylan smiled. Full van. More girls than guys. He looked pleased with himself. Not bad for something we planned at the last fucking second, huh? Nobody noticed how tightly the rear doors had sealed. Nobody noticed the faint scrape that came from somewhere beneath the pile of luggage. And nobody thought twice about the fact that, for a moment, it sounded almost like someone knocking from inside. Yeah. Takes a pretty good salesman to convince 15 people that a free beach trip is somehow worth getting up early for, Gunnar said. Dylan scoffed. Just admit it. We've got a good crew. He nodded toward Mariah, who was climbing into the van. Look. Mariah's here. He grinned. I know you've been thinking about her. And look at that. She's sitting right behind you. Everyone's just sitting wherever there's room. You don't have to ruin the magic, bro. Dylan gave him a mysterious smile. Maybe I planned it. The illusion lasted approximately 3 seconds. Hey! Troy! Dylan suddenly shouted toward the back. Move your ass. I called shotgun. A few minutes, and several arguments over seats, bags, and who was stealing whose spot later, everyone was finally inside. The doors slammed shut. For a moment, the van went completely quiet. Then Todd spoke. Where the hell is all the beer? Under the seats, Gunnar said as he started the engine. He glanced around. We got everybody. A chorus of voices answered from throughout the van. Yeah. Yep. All here. Then let's roll. The engine growled. The van pulled away from campus. Nobody noticed the faint tapping sound that followed them for the first few seconds. Todd reached underneath the bench seat. His hand suddenly hit something hard. Guys? What? Gunnar asked. There's a big metal bar under here. He felt around it. How the hell did you get the beer in? I put it in from the back. Todd frowned. Well, how am I supposed to get it out? Gunnar laughed. It's enrichment, bro. A few people chuckled. It'll give you something to do during the drive. The entire van erupted into laughter. Todd rolled his eyes and ignored them. He shoved his arm farther beneath the seat. His fingers scraped against something. He froze.